live here on YouTube as well, so that I don't have to upload my sessions after. It can just be there. So going live
here
on
on
YouTube
YouTube as well.
Okay, good. So we are live on YouTube, you guys. All right, so I think we're gonna get started. That's my alarm letting me know it's about time for us to get started. Let me get this. I don't need any notes today. My note taker. I don't need any notes today. Okay. Hey, you guys. Thanks for joining. Remove my note taker. I'm getting rid of my note taker, you guys, so that way it knows that I don't need your help right now. I got this. I got this. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second week. This is a second week, you guys. This is our second week.
So that I don't have.
This is our second week here. We're doing. Good morning. Hi, good. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining. Those that are here live with me on TikTok. Hello. Today is June 27, 2025. Pretty much 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to our second week of unlocking your potential with emotional intelligence. Unlocking your potential with emotional intelligence. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here because this week we're diving into the most transformational tool that can help you. So last week we talked about we introduced EQ to you. We gave a little bit of baseline and it wasn't long, I think it was about 15 minutes, and I was still longer than I had planned. My husband always say, "You always give so much." And I tell the husband all the time, well, I try to give as much to help them understand what it is, and so that they can know that awareness, so that they can move into transformation. So he's like, "You're just giving it away." And I was like, "Husband, please let me be in my peace. Let me do this the way I need, and I know that I can do this." So let me just say plainly, you can't manage what you're not aware of. Michelle, thank you for showing your face. So beautiful. I have to know, where are you located? Where are you located?
I am in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Oh my goodness. Actually, my best friend is over there in Connecticut. I was thinking about visiting her. I wonder if she's watching now, so that way I want to surprise her and tell her that I was going to think about coming there in September for her birthday. I may just come and hit you up, Michelle.
Love that. You're more than welcome.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely cherish you guys' time because, Friday, we could be doing somewhere else. You could be doing something else. And there's enough in this world to, take away your mindset and cause distraction, right? So, uh, just because you can't manage what you're not aware of, as I was saying, and you definitely can't lead others. Or you shouldn't, I should say, right? You shouldn't lead others if you haven't learned to lead yourself. You shouldn't, right? And let's just do a very quick overview of what we did last week. We defined emotional intelligence, we kind of understand the importance of it, and we kind of give some stats around it and the why. By 2030, just the one that jumps out in my brain, by 2030, emotional intelligence is going to skyrocket by 26. Is it 26 or 36%? By 36%. So that means that every single position, no matter the position that you are working, emotional intelligence is going to be needed in it. So the more we go towards AI, that artificial intelligence, the more EQ needs to be built in because people are using technology a lot more, and the more we use it, the more human connection we want, right? So and that human connection comes back to us as human beings, and that comes back to emotional intelligence because, of course, we know if humans are emotional, leadership and leading yourself is emotional. So emotional intelligence should be a part of that conversation, right? And then we talked about the four components of emotional intelligence. Depending on who you ask, it's five. Depending on who, it's four. So that we talked about self-awareness, kind of introduced that a little bit. We talked about self-management, which is also self-regulation. We talked about social awareness, right? Reading the room, being able to read the room. And then we talked about relationship management, right? How you can be the better version of yourself in relationships, right? And so those that are in the class got the assessments, they got the introductions to the other source resources that I shared. And those that are in the class, those that are not in the class, you guys have to have signed up. Uh, and they're a part of the group as well, the community group that we have on WhatsApp. So kind of help keep your mindset right throughout the rest of the week, because we know that if your day to day, as you interact with people, how you are showing up allows people to decide their experiences of you. And you're doing the same, right? You're doing the same. So that's where what we did last week. This week, we're talking about see yourself to lead yourself, right? And that's self awareness. We're talking about self awareness. This, I don't know if I told you guys last week, this is my favorite of all of the components of emotional intelligence. And it's because without self-awareness, the other three don't matter. It really don't matter, right? Because if you can't manage yourself or see yourself and see where you're wrong and how you can grow and what your blind spots are and your weaknesses and your strengths, there's no way you care about anybody else. There's no way you care or you can see anybody else, right? In order to see the humanity in other people, you have to see it in yourself first. You have to, right? Which is why think about all of the previous bosses and friends and family members that you have that were so that are, or even yourself, right? Quick to judge, quick to put somebody, to, tell them, whatever you need to tell them, and quick to, give them that short end of the, the stick. I always give this example with me and my husband. he he allows people to prove themselves to him. So he's a glass, he gives them the glass, but he gives them the glass empty, right? Me, I give them the glass full and let them empty it out. You do the same, Michelle? So so he allows people to prove themselves to him, and slowly he fills up that cup. Oh, okay, she showed up today for me. All right. Okay. Okay. So he did answer my phone call. Oh, he did text me back. So, oh, he cares about me. Oh, okay. So he slowly allows friends, right, or coworkers or people in his life slowly fill up that cup. And if that cup never gets full, that's exactly where he leaves those people. That's exactly where he leaves them, and he don't care, right? Me, on the other hand, you and me, Michelle, or those that are alive, your cup is full, and you're giving it to them and say, "Here, let's drink out of this cup together." And then you give them, "Okay, you can drink first. That's okay. You can drink first." And then they don't want to give you the cup back. Michelle, they don't want to give you the cup back, or they forget that you got a drink too. I'm laughing because it is so real, right? That you give and you give and you give and you give and you give, and man, it's tiring, right? You get tired, you get annoyed because you just continue to give to people that don't give back to you. So part of emotional intelligence says you got to assess that. You got to think about that. And, they said that's insanity, right? Why are we continuing to give to other people that are not giving to us? And I'm not talking giving, tangible stuff. That's a part of it too. I'm more talking about intangible stuff that you can't touch. They're not kind to you. They never answer your text messages. They don't, when you need them to lay on and to kind of be that rock and to help you through a tough time, you can't find them. You can't find them. They're not answering the call, and they always have an excuse. Because that's what it is. It's an excuse. If they can't be there for you like you are for them, then you need to reevaluate that relationship. And that's just one small component. Me and Duranda was talking earlier. It's very lonely when you have to go through this on your own, right? Duranda puts tired of making deposits where they constantly withdraw. 100%. You're always making deposits. You're the one making deposits, and they're the one withdrawing. No, buddy. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You gotta be able to, you gotta be brave enough, because not a lot of people are brave enough to do that work and ask themselves those hard questions and then move past that awareness to action. So self-awareness says recognize when what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. So it says identify your strengths and your growth areas. Understand how your emotions are showing up in your tone, in your decisions, in your relationships. It's not about self-awareness is not saying be perfect. It says be honest, right? And you don't have to be honest. You're not going to be honest with a smile all the time. Sometimes a lot of times you're going to be honest with, you're probably feeling a little bit of you're angry. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Knowing yourself. There's another author, I don't know who said it. He said, of all the knowledge you will acclaim in your entire lifetime, knowing yourself is your greatest achievement. Because once you know what you would do and what you wouldn't do, nobody can change that. Nobody can fix that. Nobody can move that chest on the wall without you knowing, no, 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 I know who I am, and that is not a part of my values. So I'm not going to go to that. I'm not going to do that. And the sooner we realize this and pack it with actions, the better it's going to be for all of us, right? For you in all of the relationships that you have. So when you don't have self-awareness, you react instead of responding intentionally, right? You misread situations and people. I can't tell you how many times I misread situations and misread people. I had my friend actually, Michelle, my friend that's in Connecticut. So many times she didn't call me back, and wasn't nothing. It's just I never heard back from her, and they were just checking in on her. And I realized over time, with our friendship over time, that we can go a week or 2 weeks without talking, but when we do finally connect, oh, it's like it was, no time has passed, right? I have to realize that, do I need to talk to her every single day to say that, oh man, she's not my friend? You got to realize that, like, if there's not, and my husband said to me, he said, if, years ago, he's like, if there's nothing new to talk about, what do you, what are you looking, what do you want? Because I had an idea of what a friendship is in my head, and I had to reevaluate what that looked like and how I want it to look like for me, not only presently, but going forward, right? So you self-awareness, when you don't have self-awareness, you lead from fear, from ego, and from that survival mode. That ego, I tell you, boy, it will, gosh, your ego is going to kill you if you don't get your ego in check. If you don't put your ego in check, it's going to it's going to bring you down because you do so much from ego. And next week we're going to talk about the three family members that you have in your life that is pulling you down. And I say family members, I don't mean actual family members. I mean family members that are up here that is ruining your life and you don't know it, right? So here are some examples of self-awareness in action. For example, you could say, I notice I get defensive when. I notice I get defensive during feedback. My friend was just telling me, she was explaining to me how I made her feel and I got defensive. Well, you should have known, you should have said what you said, then maybe I wouldn't have I didn't even let her finish. That's self-awareness is saying pause before responding, before reacting, because she's saying something that if you value her, you got to realize though, if you value that relationship, you got to be honest. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence screams honesty. It screams it, and it screams it so loud that you really got to just I had to get so real with myself, and I cried so many days, and I got so real with myself, and I had to say to myself, do I really care about this relationship? And that could be a relationship at work. Do I really value this employer, this friendship that I got at this job? Do I really care about this family member? Do I really want them in my life? I had to get so real with it and be able to accept whatever that answer is and be okay with that, right? And so self-awareness allows you to pause before responding. I mean, I started realizing that, and I spoke about this book last week, the Body Keeps Score, that whenever someone would tell me something, feedback, constructive feedback that I did not like, I would do one of two things. My body, because your body speaks to you, right? It started, my hands would get sweaty, or I would feel like I would do things with my hand that I would like squeeze my hand and it like, oh, I have to sit through this for the next 15 minutes and put this smile on that I just couldn't fake it. I tried to fake it, but I couldn't, right? And they used to tell me at my job that you do not have a poker face. I mean, what you see, what you feel is what you see, and they're gonna get what they get when they get it. That is so true. And I tried to work around that. I tried to have that stoic face. I try because I'm in HR, right? And in HR, they like you have to be objective. I tried to do that. And most of the times, 99% of the times, I always, of course, was on the side of the employee because I wanted to make sure the employees they have the short end of the stick most times, right? And I had to pause and realize that for myself. So as I'm saying this, I want you to think about your own life and where it is that how do you feel when somebody's giving you feedback? Don't jump and say, oh, I'm good. No, no, no. Really think about that and put yourself in that situation when your brother was yelling at you and telling you that you did this or said that. How did you feel in that position? Whether he was saying it with a nice, calm voice or not, and he was giving it giving it to you in a decent way, it don't matter. I'm saying, how did you feel when he was giving it to you? How did that when your friend was giving you feedback, when your husband is giving you feedback, what do you feel in that moment? Michelle says, that's why most meetings I keep my camera off because I cannot control my face. I feel you 1,000%. 1,000%. You have to go with what it is that feels best for you. But at the same time, know where it is that you are shying away from growth, right? So I had to learn, and by now every people whenever I show up and whatever I do, I have to live with, I have to be myself. And if I can't be myself, I can't be in this space. I can't be honestly in that space, right? And I now, these days, now I have learned to really read the room in terms of the energy. Like my energy, I'm supposed to be partnering with you or signing this contract with you. Something is off. I don't know what it is. And when I decide to walk away, I learn later on that this. I didn't used to listen to myself before. Self-awareness allows you to start to listen to yourself because yourself is telling you things you can't answer, or you don't have all the answers sometimes. I just know that I don't want to go into this relationship with this person, even though part of me wants to, but there's something telling me to like hold off. Don't go. Don't answer. Don't go to this party. Don't answer that phone call. Listen to it, right? Listen to it. Self-awareness says, I caught myself sounding impatient. How? Self-awareness, you asking yourself these questions. Why was I so impatient when my mother was telling me something? She wanted to explain something to me, and I just walked away. I just hung up the phone. You gotta self-awareness makes you stop and say, why was I so impatient? Why didn't I just let her talk? I learn now, I have siblings of mine that they're in their late 50s and they're still hanging up the phone on other family members because they can't take what truth is being said. So they're like, yeah, no, not gonna hang up the phone. And that's not a part of their values. That's not being true. That's not what that's not what your mom taught you. And two, if the roles were reversed and you were telling someone something, and especially if you're delivering that message in an empathetic way, you're being careful, you're being kind, and you're not saying it harsh, right? That person just hangs up the phone on you. That tells you, okay, and then you go into yourself, right? Because if you're the one kind of delivering that message and they're saying it from whatever it is, the message that they're delivering, you're the one that's giving that message, and you know that you're delivering it in the best way possible, and you're not hurting their feelings, and you're being your voice is on point, your tone, your body language, and it's like, I want you to know that I love you, but I also want you to know that, the other day when I was talking to you, you shoved past me, and you hung up the phone. There was really no really no reason for you to do that, but I felt like this is how you made me feel, like you don't care about what I have to say. And I want you to know that I care so much about you, and I care about this relationship, and I want it to grow, and I just want to know what made you, why did you hang up? Why did you feel you needed to hang up the phone? You see that? And to be honest with you don't have an answer because that's your emotional that's your subconscious brain. You've been doing that for years. You do that all the time. So now your homework, if you're the one hanging up the phone on that person, or you're the one becoming impatient, or you're the one not getting defensive when somebody is giving you feedback, then you got to take that and ask yourself the question, why? And you got to go sit with that. You're not going to, sometimes you don't come up with the answers right away. Why? Self-awareness is asking you to ask yourself, why? Oh, because the minute you decide to use someone else as the reason why you did something, that you went wrong. You're gone wrong. Come back. Okay, come back. Right? For those that are here on this Come back. Michelle is like shaking her head. She's like, yeah. For those that are here live, hi Ken. Ken, thanks for stopping by. So you have to come back, right? And I always say, and I think I said this, I don't know, because I do a lot of these conversations. So there is four things that you control, right? Four. How you speak, nobody can control that. Nobody can control what comes out of your mouth. So stop blaming people. People, stop blaming people. Nobody can control that. Nobody can force you to say anything. And we're not talking about extenuating situations where somebody's putting like a gun to your head or something. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in regular conversations, what comes out of your mouth, you are the one deciding what comes out of your mouth, right? The other one is how you think. How you think, right? And that's why we read that quote from Mahatma Gandhi all the time. I love this quote, right? Because keep your words positive because you keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. So, what are you thinking every single day? Nobody tells you what to think. And emotional intelligence allows you to think more intentional. So, next week, we're going to talk about how do we control that regulate our emotions, which leads to how we think and how we act and how we feel, right? So how you speak, how you think, how you feel. I have to tell me how I feel. And that's why I love emotion so much because it gives you, and I say this all the time, they're internal messages. Your feelings, your emotions are internal messages letting you know how you feel on the inside. Have you listened to you have to listen to them. And when I say listen to them, I don't mean if you're feeling anger and rage, feel it, but feel it in a healthy way, right? Because you can't, there's no way in no universe if anybody tells you that, that you shouldn't be feeling those things. You shouldn't have fear. You shouldn't have anger. You shouldn't feel frustrated. Lies. You can't. That's you're human. You're human. So first and foremost, feel what you feel. Have your emotions go amok. Just learn healthy way. That's what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence. Emotional mastery. Mastering how you respond in when you're in those emotional state. So being more logical, being more strategic, right? And how we can use it to get to get ahead versus being reactive, right? So your emotional brain is telling you, do you have to go down that road? Do you have to do it that way? Do you have to answer? You're not feeling so I gave this example all the time when I had to do an evaluation for an employee the night before. Your girl had an argument with the husband. What you think I did? This is just a small example. This tells you, and if you're one of those people where not everybody does this, right? You're one of those people where I don't mix business with pleasure. If your body is going to work, right? You are mixing business with pleasure because your body, you're not separate from your body. Your mind, your body, your spirit, it's all connected, right? The thing is that you have to decide at what point. Duranda says, I have to practice this while working so I can be a better mom. Yes, 1000%. Because, and I'm glad that you said that because that tells you just prove exactly what I'm saying. If you had a bad day at work and you're like most people, where are you going to take out that frustration? You're going to take it home. Or you're gonna be one of some other people where that smothers their conscience, that smothers how they're feeling, right? No, husband asked me how was your day. It was fine. It don't sound fine. It was fine. You are smothering yourself by not letting that out. So you learn to let it out in a healthy way. And some of the healthy ways is one, breathe. Just do some deep breath. When you're in a tight situation, allow the pauses between the deep breath to help you get to get over that hump, right? So deep breath. And with that deep breath, you're like, I did not have a nice day. So, husband, I did not have a nice day. And I noticed that when I come out of work, when I was working my 9 to 5, when I came out of work, I can't just go into talking about my day. I need a few minutes. Miranda, why you guys all so beautiful? Oh, thank you for coming on camera. So, when I noticed that when I come out of work, I can't just start talking about my day. I had to have like 30 minutes to an hour to myself to to calm myself down up here, right? And you have to figure out what that is for you. Like I had, and it helped me, right? So I used to have like 45 minutes drive, sometimes an hour drive from work to home. So that hour drive allowed me to shake off whatever happened in the day. So it allowed me to shake off whatever happened, like not use what happened at home or not what happened at work to control how I respond. I stop allowing people to use me as a punching bag. I stop allowing myself to use other people as punching bags, right? Because those are not a part of my morals and my values. It helped me to be a better person. So I started doing that. So on my drives, I would either, I would have a meditation, or I would have a book that I listened to that I really like, that because I'm all self-development, you guys. Professional self-development. I love me some self-development books and the underdog coming out big and all that stuff. Like I love Viola Davis' book. I love Michelle Obama's. Like I love all of these kinds of people books. So I would listen to these kinds of books and kind of like, oh, give me different perspective. And made me think. And so, or I listen to music. Sometimes I just had I'm like, I listen to salsa all day. I got to move my body. And so, what is that for you? You got to figure what that is for you. What works for me may not work for you, but you don't know until you try it, right? So that's another homework for you guys. Figure out what helps you decompress. True crime podcast. Oh, stop it, Michelle. I listen to Morbid. Do you do I true crime as well? There's not a show online that I don't. All of the crime shows, or we gotta find this girl, she's lost. You guys, I think I need to meet all of you guys.
Just know we needed to know how to get away with murder. We could.
I love How to Get Away with Murder, and I don't know what that says about me, but red-handed, yes, 100%. This is why I can't do a fully remote position. I was stressed in my place of peace. Ooh, Duranda. Sheba says, on the journey of learning how to switch my emotions. Man, you guys are doing the work. I'm so glad that you guys are having these conversations with yourselves. And for those that are on here live, like actually the fact that you're here, and when we talk next week, I said we're going to talk about self-management, but it's going to be how do we get rid of those 3 family members? And the 3 family members they are affecting how we're showing up. So we need to get ahead of that. And the fact that you guys are saying these things out loud, or that you're even here, pat yourself on the back, because you realize that there is more, and that you realize that there is more, and that you're curious enough to want to do something about it. So you are breaking the curse of your family, heritage, and how things were done and how things were talked and how things were discussed and how we push things under the rug and we don't fix them and we just pretend that they don't exist, and people making you think that you're the crazy one, and like it's just, we're done with that. You don't want to bring that into your kids, into your, if you don't have kids yet, if you don't want to bring it into your siblings, into your friends relationship. Like, you want to be a better friend, and how to be a better friend is to be a friend yourself. You have to be a friend to someone that you're not looking for anything back. Like, that's I just want your friendship. That's it. Right? And the first person that you have to be a friend to is yourself. Stop selling yourself short. Stop selling yourself short. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence does that so very well. It gives you so much peace to really see yourself and see yourself. Because when I started on this journey, and like you guys all have started on your journey, it tells you that forgive yourself. Yeah, you made that mistake. Yeah. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, but I didn't, I should have just stayed longer. Forgive yourself. Let it go. If you need to forgive someone and that person is no longer here on this earth, write a letter to them. Send it off and go into the ocean and just dispel it, right? Let it go. But you can't hold on to that unforgiveness because it's hurting you. And you don't even know it's hurting you. We're going to talk more about that in our next session next week, but you got to get ahead of it, and you got to get ahead of it now, right now. Today is the best day to get started, to get started. So when you do have self-awareness, you're talking about pausing, you're talking about reflecting, and you're talking about choosing how to show up, right? Choosing how to show up. And now I realize, with the relationship with my mom, before I used to say some things. So not say things to her, but I would say things about her. And that made me, I had to learn for myself that, man, she really did the best that she could with what she had at the time. And not only her, my father, who I don't even have a relationship with today, right? But I had to really dispel that and let that go. And that's something that it's not a one and done. I want you to know these conversations that you're having with yourself, that emotional intelligence journey, that healing journey, it took you, whatever, how old you are, how young you are, it took you 40 years to really get these thoughts and beliefs and whatnot into your DNA. It took you 40 years. You think it's going to take you 2 days to get rid of all of it? No, my friend, no. So please be patient with yourself and be patient with those that are around you. And not always, that means not always pointing fingers, right? Not always being so quick to jump on the bandwagon of, he should have known better. Yeah, probably should have known better. She probably should have known better. But she didn't. She didn't. So you got to decide, my friend, are you going to forgive her or hold her? But remember, when you're holding her, you're the one holding her. She don't even remember what she did. So you need to choose. Yes, Sheba, the choosing to show up for me is the hardest. Oh man, Sheba, you ain't saying nothing but a truth. So I have this quote here that says, never get tired of speaking and showing up for your own dreams. Dr. Cheryl Woods said that. Because I showed up in life and in these work relationships and these jobs and for people. I've been gun-ho for everybody, and showing up for them and giving and doing. And I'm not even gonna talk about family members, right? But I've decided years ago, it's time. I'm deciding every day. That's one thing I have to decide every day. I'm getting up I'm doing this for me. Because if I can be 1,000% for them, heck, I got to be 200,000% for me. And that time starts now. It starts today. I'm not going to continue on this path and allow them or me to sabotage my own self. And next week is really going to shed some light on these three family members that is really not helping things out. If they're not working together, they're not helping you, right? So read next week. That's the conversation, and we're getting ready to wrap up here, you guys. So you got three. The practice is to help you to kind of see yourself, is recognize what that emotion is that you're feeling, reflecting, so stopping, reflecting, and choosing how to show up. Pause before you have that knee-jerk reaction. Reflect. Why were you going? Why are you thinking that way? Why were you going to act out that way? And then choosing how to show up. Just because he's giving me that energy, that negative energy, I'm not going to match his energy with, I'm not going to match that energy, because you don't have to, you don't have to you don't have to curse everybody out. You don't have to curse everybody out and give everybody a piece of your mind. You just don't. Save that energy for yourself, Sheba. Save that energy for yourself. So instead of giving away your energy, save it for yourself. So emotional intelligence allows you to choose intentionally. Yeah. My mom, she does a lot. And then my mom has taught me so much on this journey. I had to, she at this point in time in her life, she's much older. She talks, responds back a lot, and she don't know a lot, but she responds back as if she knows. And it took me a long time to get to the understanding that I don't need to answer her word for word. I'm like, yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about, Mike. You need to listen to me. I used to be like that. So now I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. I still have your appointment on Friday though, all right, at 10 a.m. And she's like, I'm not gonna go. In 30 minutes later, what do you think she's coming and asking me? When is my appointment, you say again? I had to realize that she just needs to say whatever she needs to say. But it took me a while to realize that. And my husband, he's really helped me through this, because he's been telling me for years, just let her talk. Just ignore her. But I couldn't do that, you guys. I was like a dog with a bone. No, she needs to sit and listen to me like a child. They said once an adult, twice a child. So now she's like that child again. So I had to hold space and just, yeah, ma, no, yeah, we're not going there today, because she doesn't drive. No, we're not going there. We'll go there tomorrow. Doesn't sound like a 911, so we're not doing it. So you need to figure that out. For every fight doesn't require speaking about her. They should go calling me now. I gotta go, you guys. Go. So I wanted to tell you guys that, and I wanted to tell you. So those are the three things: recognize, pause, reflect, and then choose how to respond. And then last but not least, I'm going to send those that are in the class. I'm going to send you this. So that EQ assessment that you guys did, now that you did it on yourself, were you guys able to see the results? Because if not, I can send you guys more detail, a little bit more. Were you guys able to see the results?
It allowed you to calculate your own score and then see from there. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send each and every single one of you. I'm going to send each and every single one of you how you scored yourself in those 4 areas: self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. I'll show you how you graded yourself. And the next step is, over these next 6 weeks, find someone that you know, that you like, that you trust, and you give that to them and let them score you. right? And, how would Duranda respond in these situations? And you say, and let them score you on each one and see the gap. Because I guarantee you there is a gap. So find someone that you know, like, and trust, that that can hold space for you. So find some time, and it takes about 30 minutes, and just have them ask, evaluate you based on those 20 questions, I think it was, and see where that gap is, and then go from there. And that will show you, yourself, your perspective on yourself, and how other people witness you, right? You think that, oh, I'm great with listening to people and their emotions, but in reality, you're not that great. And so that's room for improvement, right? And that's all that is, room for improvement, right? We're being curious. Oh, right? So I wanted to let you guys know that, and to let you know, see you guys. So next week, Friday, you guys know, is 4th of July. So we're not going to be here on Friday. It's going to be on Thursday. And instead of 10 or 11 o'clock, it's going to be at 9:30, because I have another meeting later. So next week, Thursday at 9:30 Eastern Standard, we're going to talk about that, mastering that inner critic, and getting rid of those 3 family members that we kind of need to be more notice more. Those that are in the class, like I said, I'll send you guys this assignment, and I'll send you guys a little bit more on how to get, test that 360 EQ assessment. And just reflect on this, because I always try to leave you guys with a question. What emotion has been showing up on repeat for you lately? And how is it impacting your leadership or relationships? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Is it sadness? What is that for you? And then think about how that one emotion, because there are a gazillion, how that one emotion is affecting how you can be a better human being. Right? Are you quick to get angry all the time? Is that always showing up? So now going forward, we talked a lot about a lot of things that made you think. So now I need to let's continue to move it into action, right? So as you go throughout your days and your weeks, see how you are reacting when people are talking to you about anything that makes you uncomfortable from a trigger standpoint, and see how you respond. And then you start writing those down, right? Frustration shows up a lot. What am I frustrated about? And why am I frustrated about that? Right? So start doing the work, you guys, because awareness is one thing, but it makes no sense having the awareness and not packing it with action. Right? So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for having this conversation with me. Thank you, TikTok family and friends. And yeah, each and every single one of you. I'll follow up with the tools for you guys that are in the class. And I'll see you guys next week, Thursday. Have a great rest of your week. I gotta go answer my mom, you guys. I gotta go.